Popular cartoons are ripped off on a regular basis. Often the ripoffs are nothing more than cheap, inferior imitations, but occasionally they can end up being just as popular, if not more so. This video will look at some examples of both. Enjoy!
Computer engaged test sequence.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to keep up to date with all our great new videos. During the video, see if you can count how many times the greased up deaf guy randomly appears. Stick around until the end to find out if you counted correctly.
Yeah, those boos don't hurt so much because you spent 2 minutes of the last segment applauding a red velvet cake.
Family Guy. Let's start with a very obvious and famous example. Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy is quite clearly a ripoff.
Ooh, we got a fighter.
Or at least a parody of Matt Groening's The Simpsons. And MacFarlane is quite open about that fact, having clearly copied episode plots and explicitly referenced the similarities between the two shows on a number of occasions in the show itself. Look at the evidence. Both shows focus on an American family with 3 kids. The father is a dumb oaf who loves beer. The mother is an attractive woman who should be married to somebody better. Each family has 3 kids, one of whom is a baby that's far more intelligent than meets the eye. Each family has a pet dog.
You cool with that?
The father is the sole provider of income.
Oh my god, you get to work with beer?
Their houses are almost identical in shape and size, and their exploits are far more eventful than that of a typical family. But who can blame MacFarlane for using The Simpsons as a template for his creation? It's the longest running and most successful animated series of all time, and Family Guy's proven itself to be every bit as popular. The show's actually crossed over too in 2015's 45-minute long episode The Simpsons Guy. That was made possible by the fact that both shows are distributed by 20th Television and aired on Fox.
Hey, somebody get my agent on the phone right now!
Samurai Pizza Cats. Samurai Pizza Cats was quite clearly an attempt to emulate the success of the incredibly popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. This particular copycat cartoon first aired in 1991, 4 years after the Turtles first hit our screens and 7 years after the first Turtles comic book. Although it should be noted that it was adapted from an anime series in Japan called Kyoto Ninden Tiyandi. That first aired in 1990 and depicted the cats as ninjas. Samurai Pizza Cats was exactly what it sounds like. It was about 3 cats who liked pizza and were very skilled samurai. The cartoon merged modern culture with classic Japanese culture, just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did. But the more obvious similarity came in the form of the fact that it was about a group of pizza-loving anthropomorphic animals who enjoyed nothing more than feasting on a few nice slices of pepperoni. I mean, the theme song even included the words,
"They've got more fur than any turtle ever had."
Saban Entertainment, the same people responsible for Power Rangers, were behind the show. It lasted for 52 episodes and gained what could only be described as a moderate level of popularity that wasn't close to that of the Turtles.
Hey, I think this is the one where they help Fricassee fight the giant space nugget.
Kung Fu Dino Posse. Continuing with the turtle copying theme, Kung Fu Dino Posse was a Canadian, South Korean, Singaporean, German, wow, that was a mouthful. Let's start again. Kung Fu Dino Posse was an animated series that premiered in 2010. It lasted for 40 episodes but was cancelled in 2011, less than a year after it first aired. It was about 4 kung fu fighting anthropomorphic dinosaurs called Kane, who was a T-Rex, Chow, who was a Triceratops, Jet, who was a Pteranodon, and Lucy, who was a Stegosaurus. The fate of the Earth rested in their hands as the ancient villain's score was thought out and brought back to life in modern-day Megalopolis. The show was quite obviously a parody of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it didn't hide from that fact at all. It knew exactly what it was doing, and to be fair, it did it to a pretty decent standard. The humor was very tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic. The show's creators didn't expect you to take it seriously, so you didn't.
Well, how about checking out this new floor model?
It's actually a real shame that it didn't last longer because it had quite a lot of potential and could probably have been more successful than it ended up being.
And I have lots of great ideas sloshing around in my head.
Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island. Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island was a cartoon that ran for a very short period of time between September of 2005 and May of 2006. It was quickly cancelled after receiving what can only be described as terrible reviews, not least because of the fact that it was a blatant ripoff of the far more popular and far superior SpongeBob SquarePants.
Gary, I had that dream again.
Set by the sea, the show had a number of weird and wonderful characters that were very reminiscent of the crazy cast of characters in SpongeBob. The humor was equally as wacky as the show it was trying so hard to copy, but it was far too over the top, nowhere near as funny, and generally didn't hit the mark that it was trying to hit. Rob Paulsen, who famously voiced popular established characters like Raphael and Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Yakko Warner from Animaniacs, Pinkie from Pinkie and the Brain, and the titular character in The Mask, provided the voice of the main character Coconut Fred in the show.
And hello, Lord Fred!
He since stated that he doesn't like to remember being involved with it at all, believing that it was nothing more than a shameless knockoff. That really does speak volumes.
They said that no one believes in yokai anymore.
Yokai Watch. Pokemon is, of course, the incredibly popular Japanese media franchise in which characters catch powerful creatures with names like Pikachu, Squirtle, and Jigglypuff in order to fight them against each other in battle. It's a bona fide global phenomenon and has raked in billions of dollars around the world. It shouldn't really come as a surprise then that it's been blatantly ripped off on more than one occasion by people eager to capitalize on its success. A prime example of that comes in the form of Yokai Watch.
I feel like my whole life is crumbling around me.
Yokai Watch, which started in 2013, almost 2 full decades after Pokemon, is another Japanese media franchise that comes in the form of cartoons, video games, card games, comics, and more. It's set in a world in which yokai, which are supernatural creatures from Japanese folklore, haunt cities, prompting characters to befriend them and pit them against the yokai belonging to other characters. In addition to having pretty much the exact same concept as Pokemon, the yokai have names like Whisper, Ruffraff, and Hydabat. Those could all easily pass for Pokemon names. It is quite popular, though not as popular as Pokemon.
Any attempt to replicate yokai behavior would be ill-advised.
But it's undoubtedly a shameless ripoff of a far superior and far more original entity.
Hey, there's plenty of action on this show.
Pixie Pinkie. Pixie Pinkie is an Australian animated TV show that first aired in 2009, and it's really terrible. It's about a red-haired girl by the name of Nina who gets a cell phone as a birthday gift. The cell phone in question happened to have a genie named Pixie Pinkie inside of it. Pixie Pinkie is rather prone to interpreting things incorrectly. That results in many a bizarre shenanigan given her wish-granting powers. It was quite clearly an attempt to rip off the far superior Nickelodeon show The Fairly OddParents. Pixie Pinkie looks like it was created using some cheap animation software, and the characters in the show are incredibly annoying.
Hold the press, Annie! We've got an important story alert for you!
It really has no redeeming features, which makes it something of a travesty that is still airing quite often in a number of countries around the world today. The official website of the show, pixelpinkie.tv, epitomizes everything about it. It looks terrible and it has the most annoying background sound imaginable. Avoid this show at all costs.
We should really change the channel.
Johnny Test. Dexters Laboratory is a bona fide modern cartoon classic. The Cartoon Network offering first aired in 1996 and stopped in 1999 before being revived in 2001 and continuing until 2003. Then in 2005, a blatant ripoff of it was born in the form of Johnny Test. It didn't exactly have the same plot, but the characters were clearly copied in the majority of the cases, albeit with gender swaps in some instances. The titular Johnny was actually ripping off Dexter's sister Dee Dee, while his super genius sisters Susan and Mary were the ones ripping off Dexter. Johnny's mom was like Dexter's dad, while his dad was like Dexter's mom. The problem with Johnny Test was that the characters in the show were so ridiculously unlikable. If you thought Dee Dee was annoying in Dexter's Laboratory, just get a load of everyone in Johnny Test.
In 3, 2, 1.
And that even includes the ones who aren't blatant ripoffs. In spite of that, it was actually a very successful show. It enjoyed a run of 117 episodes between 2005 and 2014. In 2009, it was actually picked up by the Cartoon Network, the network that created Dexter's Lab.
I don't know about you, but I'm still hungry.
Street Sharks. We could literally fill this list with Turtles ripoffs, but don't worry, we won't because that would be boring. This will be the last one, and it's undoubtedly the best example. It comes in the form of the highly enjoyable Street Sharks, of which 40 episodes were made between 1994 and 1997.
Oh man, it is a bad B-movie.
In the 90s, if writers centered an animated series around a group of mutated anthropomorphic animals, gave them a bit of attitude, and pitted them against criminals and other evildoers, it was pretty much guaranteed that youngsters, mainly of the male variety, would buy into the idea and be glued to their TV screens watching it. Street Sharks followed 4 mutated humans, John, Bobby, Coop, and Clint, after they were transformed into humanoid sharks. They adopted the names Ripster, Jab, Streaks, and Big Slamoo. They were a great white shark, a hammerhead shark, a tiger shark, and a whale shark, respectively. Together they fought evil. In particular, they looked to take down Dr. Luther Paradigm, the mad scientist responsible for their creation. Incidentally, Street Sharks saw the introduction of the Dino Avengers characters. They ultimately went on to have their own show called Extreme Dinosaurs, which was itself a rather blatant Turtles ripoff. Run, Wonder Princess. Although we're mainly wanting to focus on animated TV shows in this video, given that a certain Amazonian comic book heroine is incredibly popular right now, we simply had to break that trend in order to include this particular feature-length movie. Run Wonder Princess is an animated movie from Korea that was released in 1978, and it doesn't take a genius to understand from the title alone that it was a blatant ripoff of Wonder Woman. The copying doesn't stop at the title though, not even close. Almost everything about Wonder Princess is shamelessly lifted from DC's most famous and popular female character. Wonder Princess has similar powers to Wonder Woman, an almost identical costume. Her spinning transformation is clearly copied from Linda Carter's live-action version of the character, and she even has a handsome military man in the mold of Steve Trevor as a love interest. Seriously, ripoffs don't come much more blatant than this. We just hope DC got some royalties for it.
I couldn't hear you. Tiger and I plugged our ears.
ThunderCats. ThunderCats was undoubtedly a brilliant show in its own right, but there's also no doubt that it was a blatant ripoff of another 1980s classic, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. ThunderCats first aired in 1985, 2 years after Masters of the Universe and 4 years after the first Masters of the Universe comics, so there's no argument regarding which franchise came first. The main character, Lion-O, was a muscle-bound, scantily dressed warrior who wielded a sword of great power just like He-Man. The main villains, Mum-Ra and Skeletor, were both hideous sorcerers. Both Lion-O and He-Man had cute but clumsy sidekicks in the form of Snarf and Orko. Their major allies all fulfilled specific roles, and each cartoon had great castle-like layers for the heroes and dark, dank layers for the villains.
We'll all pitch in and do the job ThunderCats style.
And that's the end of our video. Did you enjoy it? Do you know of any other ripoffs of popular cartoons? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great videos like this one. And the number of times the greased up deaf guy randomly appeared in the video was... We hope you had fun counting. Bye for now.